your equity is already up $150,000. This is real talk, okay? And so it's easy to talk about fictitious numbers. I'm gonna give you real numbers, okay? One of the first houses I bought for $15,000. Now, obviously you can't do that anymore, but that was in 1995. I spent another $25,000 fixing it up, so I had $40,000 into it. I lived in that house for 7 years. I sold it for $87,000 some odd dollars, which means if you do the math, okay, yes, I paid as I went, and I did pay off my whole loan, which is the smarter way to do it if you can. And I talk about that in my book too. But I lived in it for free and made $47,000 to live in that house for 7 years. That's how the math works out, okay? The next house I lived in, I forget what I bought it for, but I lived in that one for 7 years also. And I'm pretty sure that I paid that off quickly and I made $50,000 on it or something like that, which means I lived in it for free for 7 years and made $50,000 because your house increases, right? You're still making those payments, but your house increases in value. So you sell it for more than what you bought it for. That's why it's so smart to buy a house, okay? If you've lived in an apartment for 7 years, and let's say that you spent $2,000 a month, well, that's $24,000 a year times 7 years. That means you spent like $175,000 in rent, right? Am I doing my math right? I think so. A little less, 171, 100, whatever. $175,000 is what you've spent, and now your apartment just costs more. But they can kick you out at any minute. You can't change the paint colors, you can't change the floors, you got people all around you got to worry about. You buy a house, it's not a thing. Now look, you say, oh, I don't have the money to buy a house. Well, save some. Save some money, get a better job, get a skill set, do something. You're in control of your life. Don't just sit around waiting for somebody to save you. It's time for you to do something, right? Get the money, save the money, find a way. There are people that are way dumber than you, but made way more money than you just because they believe in themselves. Do it. Save your money, get your credit up, buy a house you can afford. Like I said, my first house was $15,000. My very first land, the first thing that I ever built for myself, 100%, I bought 20 acres of land when I was 17 years old. I worked at Applebee's as a dishwasher. So when people are like, oh, boo-hoo, I don't have any money, I'm like, I didn't have any money. You find a way. I cut down trees and I built a log cabin, okay? You can do it. There's things you can do. There's resources around you. First of all, you know what? Be nice to people. That's pretty important. Be nice to people and talk to them, because if you do that, then you'll be like, oh, you know what? There's a builder right there, and there's a concrete guy, and there's a plumber, and there's an electrician, and I'm friends with them. And now, because we're friends anyway, not just so I can get something out of them, but when the time comes, I'm like, hey, I want to use you so that you can make some money, and they're probably going to give you a better deal anyway, or at least they'll care about you more. Not such a bad thing. And then you have equity. And then you know what happens? It gets bigger. It's a smart move. Buy a house already, for real. And thank you for commenting, because you're right. The house prices do go up significantly. I don't hardly know anybody who bought a house and like, I regret this.